Desperate to escape, she hid in a stranger's car, discovered an incredible life-changing secret. Maya's heart raced like a wild drum in her chest as she darted into the shadows of the parking lot. The bitter cold of Detroit's night air bit through her thin jacket, but it couldn't freeze the warmth of her love for her son, Ethan. She couldn't go back, not to the suffocating grip of her past, not to the bruises that hid beneath her skin. As she crouched low, avoiding the streetlights, she saw a car pulling in. A shiver of terror ran down her spine. She leaped inside the back seat, pressing herself against the cool leather as needles of fear pricked her thoughts. Who was this stranger? Tom had no idea that his quiet evening had just taken a sharp turn into the extraordinary. Just a veteran returning from another long day, his mind clouded by the ghosts of war and lost dreams. He turned the key, the engine humming softly, when a glance in the rearview mirror made him catch his breath. Eyes wide and fearful met his, and in that moment, a strange connection sparked between them, two lost souls desperately seeking refuge. What he murmured, bewildered but instinctively aware that this woman was more than just a stowaway, she was a survivor. Are you okay? Maya was trembling. Words caught in her throat, panic bubbling beneath the surface. But Tom's voice was gentle, inviting. You're safe with me. As they drove through the battered streets of Detroit, she saw flickers of hope in the places that once seemed broken. Tom told her about his dreams of opening a coffee shop, all those plans dashed by betrayal and shattered trust. His voice was warm like the first sip of coffee in winter, comforting, filled with understanding that resonated deep within her soul. They both shared scars painted on their hearts, revealing stories of hardship and resilience. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks, their friendship blossoming amid community events and bustling diners where eyes sometimes judged and sometimes offered support. Maya found herself smiling more, drawn to Tom's unwavering spirit, the way he held his head high despite the weight of scars unspoken. She was unsettled, though, knowing that judgments lurked just around the corner, ready to pounce at the slightest misstep. Then the charity event arrived, a night meant for uplifting the community, but a battleground for scrutiny instead. As they navigated the sea of uncertain glances, suddenly it hit her, maybe the support she craved for Ethan meant confronting her fears rather than leaving them hidden. Just when hope began to blossom, Maya faced a decision that could uproot everything, a job offer. Relocation. A fresh start beckoned from out of town, pulling her toward a new life for her and Ethan, yet it threatened to shatter the bond with Tom. Could she really take him away from the only family he'd found in her? Standing on that crossroads, surrounded by echoes of her past and the weight of a future uncertain, Maya felt a nervous flutter in her stomach. Could she embrace the unknown, or would she succumb once more to the ghosts that haunted her? The choice lingered heavy in the air, as the flickering embers of their connection glowed with the promise of something more. Would Maya find the strength to forge her path and yet keep her newfound family intact, or would she be dragged back into that darkness? Maya stared out of the window as the city lights flickered by, each glimmer a moment, a memory, a chance she was teetering on the edge of taking. Tom's presence was steadying, like an anchor in the uncertainty of her turbulent thoughts. But the weight of the offer loomed over her, heavy and unyielding. Relocation, what would that mean for Ethan? What would it mean for her and Tom? Where do you see yourself in 5 years? Tom's voice broke through her swirling thoughts. He glanced at her for a brief second before returning his focus to the road. What? She blinked at him, caught off guard. It felt like a trick question, one wrapped in layers of possibilities she hadn't started to untangle. 5 years, he repeated gently, a faint smile playing at the corners of his mouth. Do you still see yourself in Detroit? Or maybe somewhere else? A lump formed in Maya's throat. This wasn't how she envisioned their conversation going. I don't know. I want what's best for Ethan. But I'm scared. Starting over it terrifies me. Tom nodded, a shadow crossing his face. You're not alone in this. You've got someone in your corner, you know. Her stomach twisted. But what if that someone gets hurt in the process? The more we connect, the harder it will be if I leave. Silence enveloped them for a moment, the rhythmic hum of the engine filling the void. Then Tom broke it, his voice low and earnest. You deserve a chance at happiness. And so does Ethan. But it's not an easy path to walk. You'll have to make choices. Choices that could unravel everything they had built or give her all she ever wanted. Later that night, after the chaos of the event had faded, Maya found herself on her bed, staring at Ethan's sleeping face. He looked peaceful there, so innocent, so unaware. All her fears and doubts fell away in that moment. She wanted stability for him, a chance to thrive, not just survive. But the thought of leaving felt like cutting a piece of her soul away. What if the new life didn't offer the safety she craved? She could still hear Tom's voice lacing through her mind, urging her toward possibility. But would those dreams fade if she stepped away? A soft knock interrupted her thoughts. It was Tom, the silhouette framed by the doorway, a concerned expression etched on his face. Everything okay? Maya wiped away a tear that had escaped, nodding slightly. Yeah. Just thinking. He stepped inside, the warmth of his presence bringing an unexpected comfort. You don't have to decide right now. Just remember, whatever you choose, I'll be here if you need me. You're stronger than you know. His words resonated deep within her, wrapping around her heart like a reassuring hug. But as she looked up at him, the reality of what she needed tugged relentlessly at her. Could she trust herself with this choice? Later, lying in bed, Maya felt the pull of the future, the new life, the fresh start. The urge to run, to seek safety for her son without disrupting what they had, reflected in the tangled sheets around her. As sleep began to pull her under, one thought remained crystal clear: tomorrow would bring a decision that could change everything. Would she chase after hope or retreat to the shadows of her past? The morning held the weight of that choice, and with it, the threat of losing everything: Tom, her safety, Ethan's chance at peace. In dreams, a cry echoed through her mind: where do I go from here? And as dawn approached, she felt the answer just beyond her reach, elusive yet tantalizingly close. What was waiting for her on the other side of that decision? Maya woke to the golden light filtering through her curtains, the soft rays dancing across her face, gently nudging her awake. But today was different, the weight of her decision pressed down on her like an unwelcome blanket. She lay still for a moment, hearing the faint sound of Ethan stirring in the next room. The familiar creaks of the house felt both comforting and suffocating. Mommy! Ethan's excited voice broke through the stillness. She managed a small smile, her heart swelling with affection as she thought of the little boy who depended on her. She rolled out of bed, her limbs heavy with the realization that this day would shape their future. What would it mean for Ethan's little life if she made the move? Would this unknown path lead them to better days, or would it shatter the fragile peace they had built? In the kitchen, Ethan was working his way through a breakfast of toast and jam, his little hands sticky but jolly. His laughter warmed her insides, and she felt a flicker of hope. Maybe this was the day she would find clarity. Hey buddy, she said, ruffling his hair. How about we go to the park today? His eyes sparkled. Yes. Can we bring the kite? Of course. Maya felt her heart lift at his enthusiasm. The kite, a bright red and blue creation, had been a gift from Tom. Just imagining flying it together made her miss him already. Would he be joining them today? After breakfast, they headed to the park, a flash of color and laughter surrounding them. Maya found herself engrossed in their escapade, Ethan's giggles echoing against the emerald backdrop of grass and trees. For a few hours, the world melted away, and in the joyous simplicity of their routine, she felt a haze of comfort. But that nagging thought wouldn't vanish. She knew they'd eventually return home, to that familiar place where the walls felt like they were closing in on her choices. What if the life she envisioned was out there waiting for her to be grasped with both hands, but she was too scared to reach for it? Just as Ethan began running toward a group of children, chasing a rogue soccer ball, Maya's phone buzzed in her pocket. She fished it out, recognizing Tom's name on the screen. Heart racing, she answered with a mix of excitement and uncertainty. "Hey, is everything okay?" His voice brought a warmth that was hard to resist. "Yeah, we're at the park. Just thinking." She hesitated, contemplating sharing more but knowing it would only pull her deeper into the maze of uncertainty. "How's your day going?" "Busy," he replied. "But I wanted to check in. Did you think more about what we talked about?" Maya sighed, drawing in a breath that felt heavy. "I'm trying, Tom. Really, I am. Let us meet up later, then. Talk it through." The knot in her stomach twisted again. Did she really want to unravel her thoughts with him, or was it time to finally make a choice? "Sure. I think I'd like that." After they hung up, Maya watched Ethan soar the kite high into the brilliant blue sky, the colors vibrant against the backdrop of the clouds. She wanted to believe that moving would mean brighter moments like this, moments where fear didn't suffocate the joy. As the sun dipped lower in the sky, a breeze caught her hair, the hint of change swirling all around her. But she knew the time was ticking. Today would either push her into the unknown or anchor her in the life she already had. By the time they returned home, shadows stretched long across the floor. Each step felt heavy as she prepared for the inevitable conversation with Tom. Would she unveil her heart's deepest fear or safeguard it a little longer? But before she could settle into her thoughts, a sudden knock at the door jolted her. Confused, she glanced at the clock. It was too early for Tom. With cautious steps, she moved toward the door, unsure of what awaited her. Would it be change knocking, or something entirely unexpected? As she opened the door, the world shifted, and her breath caught in her throat. Who stood on the other side would change everything once again. Maya took a deep breath as she opened the door, her heart pounding. Standing there, framed by the fading sunlight, was a woman she barely recognized but felt an unsettling connection to. The woman had fiery red hair, bright blue eyes, and a determined expression that spoke of urgency. "Can I help you?" Maya questioned, her voice wavering slightly. The woman studied her for a moment as if weighing her next words. "I'm sorry to barge in like this. Are you Maya?" Before Maya could respond, the woman continued, "I'm Piper. I know this is strange, but I really need to talk to you about Ethan." "What do you mean?" Maya felt a chill run down her spine. "It's about his father," Piper said quietly, her eyes darting around as if expecting someone to come out of the shadows. "I know where he is." Maya's heart raced. "Tom. You know where Tom is?" Piper swallowed hard, nodding slowly. "Yes, and it's not safe for you or Ethan. You need to hear me out." With sudden determination, Maya stepped aside. "Come in." As Piper entered, the tension in the air thickened. Maya led her to the living room, where a solitary lamp cast a warm light that felt strangely out of place. She could feel Ethan's small presence in his room down the hall, blissfully unaware of the bombshell that was about to explode in their lives. "Start talking," Maya said, crossing her arms defensively. Piper gestured for Maya to sit. "Okay. Tom, he's involved with some people. People who aren't good. I didn't know he had a son until very recently, but now that I do, I realize he needs to stay out of it. They're watching him, watching you." Maya's mind whirled. "What do you mean, watching? Why didn't Tom tell me?" "Because he's trying to protect you. He thought if he kept you out of it, you'd be safe." Piper leaned in closer. "But he's in too deep. I have evidence proof that he's in danger." And that danger extends to anyone close to him, like you and Ethan. Fear gripped Maya's heart. She thought of their peaceful mornings, the laughter that filled their home, and how quickly that could all vanish. What kind of danger? There are people looking for him, people who will stop at nothing to get what they want. I thought they were just after him until I realized that it's broader than that. If they find you too. Piper's voice trailed off, the implication hanging heavily between them. Then what? What do we do? Maya felt her heart pound in her throat. Piper hesitated before answering. You need to leave. I know a place where you can be safe. Maya's thoughts swirled like leaves caught in a fierce gust. Could she uproot everything she'd built? But Tom and Ethan, her thoughts twisted painfully. The reality was morphing into something dark and threatening. What if I don't want to run? What if I just want to protect my son? Maya couldn't hide the tremor in her voice. Piper reached out and squeezed her hand. Then you tell me what you want. But understand, staying could mean putting Ethan in jeopardy. You have to make a choice. Maya stared into Piper's eyes, searching for some reason to hold on to hope as the gravity of the situation pressed on her. Could she keep Ethan safe while standing still? Or would leaving become their only path to safety? I need to think, she whispered, the taste of uncertainty bittersweet. Think fast, Piper urged, glancing at the window nervously. They might already be here. Just then, a loud noise echoed from outside. It sent a chill down Maya's spine. Was it too late already? As panic began to blossom, she took a deep breath. Okay, she said finally, determination finding its way through the fear. Show me the way. But as she turned to Piper, ready to take that leap, something unexpected happened outside that would change everything once again. The weight of the moment bore down, leaving her teetering between fear and a flicker of hope. Would she step into the unknown, or face a terrifying truth waiting just outside her door? The noise outside was deafening, a series of sharp thumps that reverberated through the walls, shaking Maya's resolve. She glanced towards the window, anxiety twisting in her chest. What was that? Piper's face paled. I think they've come for him. The urgency in her voice sent a fresh wave of panic through Maya. Maya's mind raced. She had to protect Ethan. That thought outweighed everything else. What do we do? She felt adrenaline course through her veins. Grab a few essentials, Piper said, her words clipped. Whatever you can carry. We have to leave now. Maya hesitated, glancing down the hallway toward Ethan's room. Just the thought of dragging him into this chaos was unbearable. But as the thumps grew louder, mingling with muffled voices from outside, she knew she had little time. I'll get him, she said, pushing aside her fear. She dashed down the hallway, her heart pounding against her ribs. She swung open Ethan's door. He was sitting on his bed, a book in hand, eyes wide with confusion. Mom, what is going on? He asked, his innocent voice cutting through her panic. Sweetheart, we need to leave. Now. She rushed to him, kneeling by his side. I need you to trust me, okay? Can you do that? Ethan nodded, his small face pale but determined. I can do that. Grabbing his backpack, she yanked out the most important items, his favorite toy, a few clothes, and a picture of them together. As she stuffed everything into the bag, she could hear the sound of footsteps approaching the door. Time was slipping away. Come on, buddy. She took his hand, her grip firm but reassuring, leading him out of his room. Piper was waiting near the front door. We need a way out. The back door, but before she could finish, a shadow loomed in the doorway, cutting off their escape. A man stood there, tall and menacing, his face half hidden in the dark. Looking for someone? He asked, voice low and taunting. Maya's heart dropped. Run! She shouted, pushing Ethan toward the kitchen. They didn't have time to think, survival was the only option. Piper stepped in front of them, a look of defiance on her face. "Stay back." The man smirked, not deterred. He moved through the door like he owned the space. Maya felt the presence of danger wrapping around her, squeezing the air from her lungs. Quickly assessing the room, Maya's eyes fell upon a window, a slim chance of escape. "Ethan, follow me." They dashed towards it, but as they moved, the man lunged at Piper, grabbing her arm with iron fingers. "You shouldn't have come back," he hissed, pulling her away. "No." Maya screamed as she pulled Ethan closer, bracing herself for the turmoil around them. Suddenly, in the midst of chaos, she caught sight of an old car parked in their driveway. A thought sparked in her mind: could they make it there? It was risky, but they had no choice. "Let us go," she urged, ready to burst through the back door. Just then, Piper freed herself long enough to shout, "Get to the car. I'll hold him off." The desperation in her voice cut Maya to the core. She didn't want to leave Piper behind, but the instinct to protect her son overrode every other thought. Maya grabbed Ethan's hand again and pushed through the door. "Run!" They sprinted toward the car. Looking back, she saw Piper struggle against the man. The scene burned into her memory, a snapshot of their fight against overwhelming odds. Maya yanked the car door open. "Get in, Ethan." He hesitated, terror etched on his young face, but as the commotion behind them escalated, he scrambled into the back seat. Maya followed, feeling the cold metal of fear wrap around her heart. As she turned the ignition, the engine sputtered, then roared to life. "Hold on!" she yelled, glancing back just in time to see the man break free and chase after them. Maya slammed her foot on the gas, sending them barreling out of the driveway. Adrenaline coursed through her as they sped away, but a sinking dread filled her chest. She had escaped, but for how long? "What's happening, Mom?" Ethan asked, his voice shaking. "I don't know," she admitted, her heart heavy. "But we'll find a way to be safe." As they pulled further from the house, a thought struck her. What if they weren't just running from danger? What if there was something bigger at play? She had no idea what lay ahead, but she felt an unmistakable shift in the air, as if a storm was brewing on the horizon. What did Piper mean when she said, "They're watching"? Maya whispered to herself. And the truth began to dawn on her: this was just the beginning of a much larger struggle. Maya pushed the accelerator, the engine's roar drowning out the chaotic thoughts swirling in her mind. The streets were a blur as she navigated through the tangling web of panic and fear. Ethan sat in the back seat, clutching his toy tightly like it was a shield against the unknown. "Mom, where are we going?" he asked, his voice tremoring. The question stung. "Anywhere but here," she replied, hoping to conceal her uncertainty. The streetlights flickered by as if to mock her feeble attempt at reassurance. They needed a plan. Maya grasped the steering wheel tighter. "First, we find someplace safe." The car felt like both a refuge and a prison. She couldn't shake the image of Piper, fierce and brave, battling against that man. What if she never saw her again? Each thought was like a punch to her gut. "Can we go to Grandma's?" Ethan asked, his innocence lighting up the heavy atmosphere. Maya's heart squeezed at the mention of her mother's house. It was comforting and distant at the same time, shrouded in memories of a safer past. "Yes, we can," she said, forcing a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "But first we have to be really careful." A sudden noise from behind made her jump. She glanced into the rearview mirror. Nothing but shadows of a world deep in the night, but her instincts screamed. Mom! Ethan's voice broke the silence, a whisper edged with fear. "What if they find us?" "Don't think about that," she said, trying her hardest to sound strong. "Focus on me." But the words felt weak, even to her own ears. As she turned a corner, a blast of light illuminated the car from behind. Her heart raced. "Stay down, Ethan!" she yelled. The headlights were blinding, looming, and fast. Mom! Maya's breath hitched as she pressed harder on the gas, the tires screeching against the pavement. The car behind them was relentless, gaining ground. Hold on tight. She swerved onto a side street, her palms slick with sweat. The sound of revving engines filled the air, an unwanted chorus to their flight. Determination surged through her, pushing her to escape at any cost. Please, just work with me, she muttered under her breath, her grip tightening around the wheel. She could feel time slipping away, and if they didn't evade their pursuers now, it would be over. In a sudden twist of fate, a small parking lot appeared ahead. Maya veered into it, heart pounding, and cut the headlights, blending into the dark. They'd become just another shadow against the night, hidden and silent. Is it over? Ethan whispered, breathless. Not yet, she said, peering through the window. The car that had pursued them for so long had pulled into the lot, stopping nearby. Maya held her breath, praying they wouldn't be discovered. The figure from the other vehicle stepped out, scanning the area. Maya's heart raced. This wasn't just any man. It was the same one from before, and he was searching. Anxiety wrapped around her throat, choking her. Mom, Ethan whispered again, his eyes wide with fear. I know, buddy. But we have to stay quiet. Maya felt the weight of the moment, suffocating, as she watched the man pace around their car. Was it just her imagination, or did a flicker of recognition cross his face? He scanned around, nearing their vehicle. If only they had driven faster, if only Piper could be with them, fighting back. Then, the sound of another engine broke the silence, and an old truck rolled into the lot, its headlights cutting through the darkness. Maya's heart jumped. This might be their chance. Ethan, stay low. I need you to trust me. The truck door swung open, and a stranger stepped down, looking around as if sensing something was off. She watched with bated breath, praying he wasn't like the man pursuing them. Get ready, Maya whispered, anticipation nipping at her heels. But just as she was about to make her move, the man from the car turned, catching sight of the newcomer. Swear slipped through Maya's lips. Mom, what if he sees us? I know, she said, feeling her heart race again, but we can't just sit here. What she'd feared most was coming true as the man strode towards the stranger. A confrontation loomed on the horizon, and she needed to act fast. As she prepared to step out from the vehicle, something inside her hesitated. Would help come? Or would they be walking right into a trap? Mom! Ethan's voice trembled. In that moment, everything hung in the balance. Both fear and hope intertwined. As the two men faced off, Maya had to decide, was it worth the risk to leave the safety of the car and leap into the unknown? Just one step forward could change everything, she thought. What awaited them, safely hidden in the shadows? With that question echoing in her mind, Maya acknowledged the only answer was in her hands. She took a deep breath, her body tense with resolve. Would she be the one to confront their fate? Maya's heart raced as she weighed her options, the pull of fear and desperation wrestling inside her. The tension was unbearable. She could see the two men on the edge of confrontation, the air thick with unspoken words. Each second felt like an eternity. Come on, she whispered to herself, just do it. Gathering every ounce of courage, Maya opened her car door, the creaking metal loud in the stillness. She stepped out, a world away from safety. The cool night air hit her like a slap, sharp and invigorating. She felt Ethan's eyes on her, both terrified and hopeful. Stay low, Ethan. She hissed back, never taking her eyes off the two figures moving toward each other. The stranger she hoped might be their savior looked back at her, confusion in his gaze. But it was the other man, the hunter, who caught sight of her first. He froze, locking eyes with her, recognition flickering like a spark. Maya. He called, a predatory grin stretching across his face. Her breath caught. What did he know? Had her past caught up to her in a way she hadn't anticipated? The stranger took a step forward, his posture shifting, ready to intervene. "Who are you?" he demanded, eyes narrowed. "She yes with me," Maya blurted, not fully understanding what she was saying. But her instinct kicked in. She couldn't let Ethan see her falter, couldn't let him sense the fear gripping her. "We need help. Please." The desperation tinged her voice. The man's gaze sharpened. "Get in the truck. Now." Without a second thought, Maya rushed to the truck, pulling Ethan after her. She barely registered the stranger following, his body blocking their pursuer. The doors slammed behind them, sealing them into the safety of the cab. Heart pounding, she peered through the window, watching the scene unfolding outside. The stranger stood firm, putting himself between her and the man who had tormented her before. "Why are you doing this?" Maya whispered, barely able to take her eyes off the confrontation. "Because I know," the stranger replied quietly. "You are not the only one shaking in fear tonight." Confusion washed over her. What could he possibly mean? Suddenly, she saw the hunter reach for something tucked into his waistband, a weapon. Panic surged through her. "Move!" she shouted, turning to the driver. "Get us out of here." Just as the engine roared to life, she caught a glimpse of the hunter lunging for the stranger, fists flying. A crash echoed as the truck thrust into motion, and they sped away, heartbeats racing as they escaped the clutches of chaos. As they drove into the night, the adrenaline began to fade, leaving a heavy silence behind. Maya's breath hitched as she turned to the stranger, desperate for answers. "Who are you? Why did you help us?" The stranger looked at her, his expression intense. "Because I have a feeling you're not just running from your past. You're running toward something, or someone important. And it's about to change everything for both of us." Maya's heart skipped a beat. "What do you mean?" He met her gaze, a knowing look in his eyes. "You and I might just be headed towards the biggest fight of our lives." At that moment, an overwhelming mix of hope and uncertainty coursed through Maya. Could she find strength in this strange ally? Did she even have a choice? With a sense of urgency, she felt the need to find out. Maya leaned closer. "What is happening? What are we really getting into?" His answer hung in the air, drawing her in like a moth to a flame. Every moment of doubt fell away. "Just hold on tight, Maya. It's not just about survival anymore." As night slipped into dawn, a new chapter loomed on the horizon. What awaited them was still shrouded in mystery. But as the road twisted ahead, Maya realized it might lead to answers she never knew she needed. The engine's roar faded into the rhythmic beat of the road beneath them as Maya began to calm her racing heart. She glanced at Ethan, who was still unsure, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and awe. "We're safe now, right?" he whispered, almost as if trying to convince himself. Maya nodded, though doubt gnawed at her. "For now," she said, her voice shaky. She turned back to the stranger, who was focused on the road ahead, determination etched on his face. "Can you at least tell us who you are?" Maya pressed. "Why did you help us?" The stranger finally broke his silence, a hint of a smile creeping into the corners of his mouth. "Name's Noah. Let's just say I've had my own run-ins with trouble. I didn't have a choice but to step in." The weight of his words lingered in the air. "You've been through it too, then?" Maya asked, curiosity mingling with concern. "What kind of trouble?" Noah glanced at her, his eyes revealing a flicker of pain. "The kind that leaves scars. It changes you, makes you fight for every breath." His voice was low, almost a whisper. Maya felt an inexplicable connection to him, one survivor sharing a moment with another. "I understand," she replied, her heart heavy with shared grief. "I thought I could escape it." For a moment, they shared an unspoken understanding, the kind that only comes from facing demons. Maya's mind raced back to her past, to every time she thought she could outrun the shadows lurking behind her. She inhaled slowly, trying to regain focus. What's next for us? What do we do now? Noah's expression hardened. We need to keep moving. They won't stop searching for you. I've seen their kind before. Who are they? Ethan asked, his voice breaking the tension. Noah opened his mouth to respond when sudden lights erupted behind them, flashing red, blue, and white. Maya's heart sank. Are they? No time to explain. Hold on. Noah shot back as he pressed down on the gas, the truck surging forward. The sirens wailed louder, filling the space with ominous urgency. Panic shot through Maya. They found us. She felt her breath quicken, the entire world outside morphing into a blur. Stay low and don't make a sound, Noah commanded, his grip tightening on the wheel as he glanced into the rearview mirror. The police car weaved through traffic, closing in. The truck sped through green lights, dodging and weaving through slowed cars. Maya could see the officer leaning out, radioing for backup. We can't get caught. She urged, focusing on Noah's eyes, her heart racing with fear. They don't know what we're running from, he assured her. And we're not going to let them. Just as hope flickered, a louder noise accompanied the sirens. A sharp crack echoed through the night as a bullet whizzed by, shattering the rear window. Maya gasped, fear flooding her senses. What are we going to do? Ethan cried out, clutching Maya's arm. Trust me. Noah shouted, his voice cutting through the chaos. I know a way out. Maya took a deep breath, the adrenaline coursing through her veins. She might not know Noah well, but she had no choice but to trust him now. As the truck darted down a narrow street, the sound of police sirens began to fade. Hope sparked inside Maya. Could they really escape? But as they turned the corner, a larger vehicle loomed ahead. Noah cursed under his breath. We'll have to improvise. Hold on tight. Maya braced herself, aware that the next few moments could change everything. As they skidded around the obstacle, a thought slapped her mind: could they truly outrun their past? And as if in answer, a deep uncertainty gripped her, reminding her of how quickly things can change. Whatever awaited them at the end of this wild night might either lead to salvation or plunge them deeper into darkness. Would she find the courage to face it head-on? Why don't you tell me where we're headed? Maya whispered, trying to mask her fear. Noah's lips formed a tight line. Just trust me, Maya. You're about to learn the truth and it might change everything. As the tension thickened, she felt the weight of the unknown, a universe of possibilities unfolding in front of her. Would she finally uncover the secrets to her life, or would the fight for her freedom push her to the brink? The truck veered sharply, tires squealing against the asphalt as it took a sudden left onto a dimly lit alley. Maya's pulse raced alongside her thoughts, a chaotic blend of fright and hope. She could still hear the sirens, but they seemed to fade just a little, swallowed by the shadows around them. Is this going to work? Ethan whispered, his voice barely a tremor. Noah glanced in the mirror, his brow furrowed. We just need to get off the main roads. They'll keep chasing their tails if we can disappear for a bit. Maya wished she could share Ethan's optimism, but every moment made her feel one step closer to some kind of reckoning. The darkness enveloped them, and she was acutely aware of the fear clinging to her skin. She looked out the window, watching the flickering streetlights and the dark shapes of buildings rush past them, a blur of confusion and anxiety. Noah took a sharp right, and they came to a halt in front of a worn-down warehouse. The paint was peeling, and the windows were mostly boarded up, but it felt oddly safer than the chaos outside. Stay here, Noah instructed, his voice low. He climbed out, the truck's door creaking ominously as he disappeared into the shadows. Maya turned to Ethan, her heart pounding in her ears. What do we do if he doesn't come back? Ethan shook his head, fighting back tears. What if this is some kind of trap? We just don't know him. Maya took a deep breath, fear giving way to courage. We don't have a choice. If Noah really helped us, then we owe him a chance. They waited in heavy silence, the tension fraught in the air. Maya's thoughts spiraled. What if this was a mistake? Images from her past whispered to her, reminding her how easily trust could shatter. Finally, Noah returned, sweat glistening on his brow. His expression was grave. We need to hurry. They're on to us. We're not safe here for long. Where do we go? Ethan piped up, his voice strained. There's a safe house nearby, Noah replied, urgency punctuating each word. But you need to listen closely and do exactly as I say. Maya nodded, heart racing with a mix of fear and determination. We're with you. As they navigated the path away from the warehouse, Maya couldn't shake the feeling that they were being watched. Every sound seemed amplified: the rustle of leaves, distant footsteps. She started to question Noah more, her mind flooded with doubt about his intentions. Why are you helping us? She finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Noah paused, looking at her with an intensity that made her stomach twist. Because I know what it's like to have nowhere left to run. I want to let them take you, too. His words struck a chord in Maya, resonating deeply as she recalled how desperately she sought freedom. His tone was sincere, his struggle mirrored her own. But as they crept through a narrow pathway, a gunshot rang out nearby. Maya froze, adrenaline blasting through her veins like ice water. Run! Noah shouted, adrenaline pouring from him as he pulled both Ethan and Maya forward. They sprinted, a frantic dash fueled by fear. But every step felt like they were constantly teetering on the edge. Could they really escape? Twisted emotions flooded her mind. Memories of her old life lingered, moments filled with laughter, love, and warmth now overshadowed by the bitter chill of despair. If she wanted a chance, she had to let go of the past. They rounded a corner, and Noah shoved open a door. They stumbled into a darkened room, the kind of place where secrets lurked behind every shadow. As the door slammed shut behind them, Maya took a moment to catch her breath. What now? Noah stepped forward, urgency clear in his eyes. We have to prepare. If they catch us, it's over. But as her heart raced, Maya couldn't shake a deeper worry. Who exactly were they? Just then, Ethan glanced out the window, spotting ominous lights approaching. Fear gripped him. They're coming. Maya looked at Noah, adrenaline surging through her as a new resolve built inside her. This fight wasn't just to escape a chase but to protect not only herself, but the people she cared for. Noah, we need a plan, Maya declared, gaining confidence. We have to fight back. Noah nodded, understanding that the moment was near. You're right. If we want to survive, we're going to need to confront this head-on. We can't run forever. As the sound of footsteps drew closer, an electric tension crackled in the air. Would they find the strength to fight back, or would fear overcome them? The revelation of their next move danced precariously in the lurking shadows, waiting to blow wide open. A secret about Noah loomed ever closer. What truly hid behind the scars he bore might just change everything. But would they have the chance to uncover it before it was too late? The room was thick with tension, a fragile silence hanging over the three of them, and Maya's heart raced as the echo of footsteps grew louder outside. She turned to Noah, trying to catch her breath. What do we do? We can't just hide here. Noah nodded, his brow furrowed in thought. You're right. We have to fortify this place and make a plan. It's time to confront them. Ethan looked up, his small voice cutting through the noise. Are we really gonna fight them? Maya knelt down to Ethan's level, her gaze steady and reassuring. We are, but we'll be smart about it, okay? We're not just throwing ourselves into danger, we're going to protect each other. Ethan nodded, though uncertainty lingered in his eyes. Maya turned back to Noah. But how do we prepare? Who exactly are they? Noah's expression shifted. They are an underground group involved in trafficking and crime. They've had their hands on people like you, and they won't hesitate to take what they want. The weight of his words hit Maya hard. She thought of her son, the innocence that shone in his eyes, and the future she had fought so hard for. What's their interest in me? Tom, Noah said bluntly, your connection to him puts you both in danger. He knows things. Things he shouldn't, and they won't stop until they get him back. Maya felt a surge of emotion. Tom had been her ally, her friend, and now they were tied together in this deadly dance. What do we do? She asked, her voice barely a whisper. We have to send a message, Noah said, determination flaring in his gaze. They want intimidation, but we can use that to our advantage. We need to show them we're not afraid. The footsteps grew louder, their menacing rhythm sending chills down her spine. But the new resolve sparked something within Maya. She would not let them dictate her future anymore. All right, she said forcefully. Let us get to work. They quickly began to fortify the room, pushing furniture against doors and blocking windows with whatever they could find. Maya felt a sense of empowerment she hadn't experienced in years. Here, at long last, she was fighting for something of her own. They set traps and found tools, old pipes, any blunt object that might give them an edge. Here, Noah said, handing Maya a makeshift weapon, a metal pipe. You're stronger than you realize. She took it, feeling its weight in her hands, a promise of defense, a shield for her son. Thanks, she breathed. Ethan clutched at her leg, eyes wide in fear, but she knelt down again. You have to be brave for me, Ethan. Can you do that? He nodded slowly, courage flickering in his gaze. I can be brave. Noah's voice cut through the moment. They're coming. The sound of shattering glass echoed into the room, and chaos poured into the silence like a tide. Maya's heart raced as she prepared herself for the fight. This is it, she whispered, adrenaline surging in her veins. The door burst open, and two men rushed in, eyes wild and intimidating. But just as they stepped into the room, Noah moved swiftly, confronting them with a ferocity Maya had never seen. Get back! He yelled, brandishing his own weapon, and the men hesitated, eyes darting between Noah and Maya. Instinct kicked in for Maya. We're not afraid of you. She shouted, her voice echoing against the walls. As the men surged forward, both Noah and Maya stood their ground. She swung her makeshift weapon, striking one of the men on the arm, and he cried out in anguish. Noah tackled the other to the floor, showing surprising agility, pinning him down. Ethan watched, eyes wide but filled with admiration. Go, Mommy. You can do it. That rallying cry ignited Maya's spirit. She could protect her son, protect their life. She moved again with determination, striking when she saw an opening. The musty smell of the warehouse and the adrenaline coursing through her veins made everything feel surreal. She and Noah worked in sync, each movement fueled by the urgency to survive, to reclaim their lives from the men who threatened their existence. Together. Noah shouted, and Maya nodded, mirroring his every movement. With one final push, they managed to overpower the men, taking them by surprise. As the last blow connected, the men stumbled back, disoriented and terrified. Maya stepped forward, heart pounding in her chest. This is your warning. We're taking control of our lives. You'll never catch us again. With that, the men fled, leaving the air thick with the remnants of their failed incursion. Maya looked around the room, breathless and shaking. Joy surged as she turned to Noah and Ethan, who were both looking at her, wide-eyed. You did it, Mom. Ethan exclaimed, a radiant smile breaking through his earlier fear. Maya knelt down, pulling her son into a tight embrace. We did it, all together. Noah fell back against the wall, relieved laughter escaping his lips, a genuine smile stretching across his face. You're a force to be reckoned with, Maya. In that moment, with the darkness momentarily pushed back, the three of them shared an unbreakable bond, a family forged by shared struggle and resilience. "What's next?" Maya asked, feeling the energy of triumph course through her. "Now," Noah said, "we prepare for the long fight. We take our lives back, and we expose them for who they are." Maya nodded, determination shining in her spirit. Every fear began to dissipate like mist. The battle was just beginning, but this time, it would be on their terms. They had forged strength from their struggles, and together, they would face whatever challenges lay ahead. Knowing that they were no longer victims, this was their story, and they would write it. As dawn broke through the windows, a new light flooded into the room, illuminating the path ahead. It was time to reclaim their freedom. And as they prepared to fight back, Maya felt a fierce sense of hope radiating from within. Together, they would change the narrative of their lives. Now was the moment for action, for a brand new beginning. In the days that followed, with each effort to stand tall against the darkness, they would share not only their strength but the stories that would inspire others. This was just the start of a powerful transformation, not just for Maya and Ethan but for anyone who dared to break free. As they moved toward the future, they knew, nothing, absolutely nothing could stop them now. But before the story could be fully told, Maya turned to the camera, filled with purpose. "If you're struggling, remember this: you aren't alone. We can fight back together. Keep believing. And now, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories of transformation. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Comment your reactions and feelings about this ending, and share instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share." In that moment of unity and strength, Maya knew they would be alright. After all, they were creating a safe space for others, reminding everyone that redemption was possible, and hope could always blaze through the darkness.